After working with and watching kids martial arts classes from all over the world, I can tell you I've seen some great and some not so great instructors. The crazy thing is that many of them make the same mistakes regardless of where they're from. In this video, I'm going to break down the 4 main mistakes I've seen kids martial arts instructors make so that you don't fall into the same trap. Coming up. Hey guys, Andrew here, bringing you tips and tools for your kids martial arts programs to help you motivate, cultivate, and inspire. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a new video every Wednesday. You're in it to win it, and you want to help your students become the best that they can be, but to do so, you also have to be the best version of yourself as well. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 4 biggest pitfalls of kids martial arts instructors that I've seen and how to avoid them. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Number 1 is connection. Alright, one of the biggest things that I see martial arts instructors do or don't do, especially with the newer instructors, is they don't do a good enough job of connecting with their students. Now, there are many ways to connect. I tell all of my instructors to stick with the 3 basic ways. Now, your job or my challenge to you or to your instructors is that you practice being able to do all 3 ways with every single student, every single class. So the first thing that we want to do is connect to each student by using their name. So when you line them up, don't just say, okay, number 1, number 2. Don't say you. Make sure you call them by their first name. Johnny, number 1, Andrew, number 2, Clayton, number 3. And you'll see that as soon as they hear their name, they're going to brighten up and have a lot more energy, and then they're going to run to that spot. The next thing that we want to do is make sure that we make eye contact. Everyone has heard the saying that the eyes are the key to the soul, so make sure you make eye contact. If you're tall like me, you may have to get down on their level and be able to look them in the eye, especially when you're trying to drive home a point or instructing during a drill when they're in their line. So don't forget to make eye contact. Finally, make sure that you have a physical connection with your students as well. You can accomplish this by high fives, pats on the back, hugs, all that sort of stuff works. The reason that we want to do this is so that we can increase the level of oxytocin in their system. That way, when they're on the mat, they're happier and they're learning better. So a quick way is do a high five, do a quick, oh, you missed, and just watch. On the very first time, they're going to get a big smile and they're going to try even harder next time. Those are a few tips on how you can avoid making the mistake of not connecting with each student. The next biggest pitfall that I see of new instructors as well as old instructors alike is using punishment instead of prompting. So we got to understand that kids are going to mess up, they're going to go out of bounds, they're going to make mistakes, and it's going to happen every single class, so you got to deal with it. Now, there are 2 ways that we can go about this. We can either have that old archaic mindset where we say, oh, Johnny is doing this wrong, 10 push-ups, that'll teach him. Really, it's not. What it's going to do is increase the level of cortisol in his system. He's going to be nervous that he's going to make a mistake. He's going to get push-ups. He's going to try less, and he's going to end up, or it's going to end up being retroactive for him, and he's going to end up quitting. That's not a good way to go. Instead, use prompting instead. Okay, everyone's heard you get more bees with honey, right? So use that method. So instead of giving him push-up every time he is maybe spinning around in a circle, wait for that 1 second where he is sitting really good. Johnny, you're sitting amazing. Keep it up, buddy. High five. Boom. Yeah. Okay, prompt that good behavior. Okay, if he's having a hard time spinning, look at someone who's sitting around him and say, hey, Johnny, look at Alex. Alex is sitting amazing. Alex, give me a high five. And what's going to happen? Johnny's going to be like, oh, man, I want a high five too. And he's going to sit good. And then high five Johnny as well for sitting nice and strong. Now, is it a one-time fix? No. But if you keep doing it and you're consistent, that's the key, he will get better and he will start to sit nice and strong, and you can turn him from a distraction into one of your class leaders. Number 3, this one isn't so much a technique, but more of an understanding. Okay, this, when I first heard it, changed my whole mindset and pre-framed how I taught all of my classes from there on out, and that's understanding that every action has a positive intention. Whether it's interrupting during class, that's probably because you said something and little Johnny was like, oh man, I can relate, and really wants to tell you about it. Okay, or it could be running back and forth off the mat. It has a positive intention, but maybe it's disrupting your class. A lot of instructors don't understand that sometimes kids need that safe time with their parents. So little Johnny's going to run off to the mat, get a hug from mom and dad, and mom and dad's going to say, it's okay, and then little Johnny will join class again. So A couple ways we could deal with this: if we're like, Johnny, you gotta stop running off the mat, man, or sitting him out for the remainder of class, again, that's gonna be retroactive. Or when he comes back to class, give him a high five and tell him, man, Johnny, this time or this class, you spent so much more time on the mat. That's a good way to go, man. High five, boom. Okay, and reward him for spending more time on the mat, and eventually he's gonna run off the mat less and less and less. Finally, the biggest mistake, most likely, that I've seen of a lot of kids martial arts instructors is not understanding the stages of development, and particularly the expectations that they need to have of each age group that they teach. Whether it's combined age groups or if you have them split out 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 9, 10 to 14, not understanding what they should be expecting and also what they should not be expecting from each of those age groups. There's plenty of research out there that's available to anybody. Go to your local bookstore, Google books for kids, Google child development, do whatever it takes, get that information so that you can provide more value and better service to the kids that you teach. It's important to understand that, myself included, we were all raised in the martial arts back in the day. Some of us farther back than others, but regardless, since the time where I got my black belt, you got your black belt, or I became an instructor and you've become an instructor, there's been so many advances in child psychology. We now understand so much more about child development that I believe it's a huge mistake not to take advantage of that and implement that in your kids' martial arts classes. Alright guys, so those are the 4 biggest mistakes that I've seen, regardless of where in the world you're teaching or how old or how new you are to the instruction game. Those are the 4 things that I've seen that are most common. So my challenge to you is to go back, teach your class, watch your staff teach class, and see if they do any of those 4 things. Now, if they do, it's not the end of the world. Knowing is half the battle, so make sure if they do make those mistakes, be a positive coach, a positive mentor for them, give them some strategies to help them correct that. That way, you or your staff become rock stars. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you get notified every time I post a new video every Wednesday. And also, if you found a gem in this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below about what you found most valuable to you.